Hey, what's good, everybody? So we're back again. Today I have a gentleman I've known for a long time. If you guys know anything about me, you probably heard me talk about him. You've seen him on the ads. You've seen him, me and him just like chopping it up, just in general. So I say this, but like truthfully, this is probably one of my closest friends in the industry. And just like outside of it, we chop about life. Really a mixture of everything. But not only that, this gentleman is, I don't even want to say any of your accolades wrong, but I'll just say this. He is one of the top producers in the country in all realms, not just life, annuities. He's doing a lot of high level stuff. So I'm not even going to try to mess it up and say it. But if you've heard the name, you know who he is. None other than my guy, William Rapp, bro. Thank you so much for taking time to hop on here today.
Yeah, appreciate you having me.
Of course, of course, of course. So, for the people that don't know who you are, can you give them a quick little 1 or 2 minute background of how you got into the life insurance space and your journey to where you're kind of at right now?
Yeah, certainly. So my name is William. That's my first name. I go by Scotty. A lot of you guys might know me by Scotty. I've been in the industry for about 4 years, going on my fourth year now. Before this, I was doing network marketing. I was running some additional businesses, small businesses in my hometown. Before that, I was just working a 9 to 5 and, got into the life insurance space and really found my niche in the advanced market arena. And yeah, been running an online virtual business for the last 4 years, doing very well with it and with my agency as well.
Got you. So I want the people to know, can you tell them a little bit about like your journey in entrepreneurship? Because I think a lot of life insurance agency owners think that they're business owners, but can you kind of talk about like your journey and your thoughts, honestly, about how you've taken the entrepreneur side and kind of blended it with life insurance?
Yeah, I think that's a really important question. So when you get into the life insurance space, obviously all you're taught and all you think you need to do is sales, which is relevant to, I would say, the first phase of your business. When you're getting in, you have to make sales, you have to generate revenue, you have to make money, right? And then from there, once your skill set gets to a place where you're profitable, you then have to shift over. And this is for independent agents that are selling, or specifically as well, agency owners that are scaling and growing a business. You need to look at putting systems in place and actually thinking like a business owner, thinking like a corporation, and then looking past just the sales, but also having resources for lead generation, automations, branding. I'm very big on branding, which is something Trey helps me with tremendously. And that means websites, flyers, logos, LLCs, to make yourself look representable when you are running marketing. Because if you're running a virtual agency, the biggest factor there on your sales process is trust. So, if all you do is focus on sales, right, you get people on the phone and you sell them a policy, or maybe you might lose a couple, that might be a lack of marketing or a lack of systems because you're not thinking like an entrepreneur yet to put those systems in place. So that's something that, you know, I've been working with Trey on a lot for the last couple of years, and that's helped me scale, tremendously from a brand standpoint.
Yeah, thank you for touching on that. And I want to take a step back for people real quick. Back to when we first started working together. I want to talk, if you could speak to a individual agent that just started working with Agent Lead Lab that's doing, the monthly pack. Can you talk to him about like the mindset that's necessary to be successful and just like any game for them? Because a lot of people ask me like, hey, how do I make the most out of working with your company? What would you say to those individuals?
So for people that are on like the monthly pack getting leads, are you talking about the ones that have the system in place, or they're just getting the leads?
They're just getting like you when we first started, just getting leads.
Okay. Yeah. So if that's the case, you're on the monthly pack. Trey and his team, they're gonna play their part. They're gonna get you the leads. They're gonna go into your CRM. They're gonna be quality individuals that are coming through your pipeline, right? Obviously, with any lead system that you're running, you're gonna have leads that are hit or miss, right? So that's just the nature of the game. Your goal is to, one, increase your skill set, and then two, how often are you on the phone? How often are you contacting those individuals? Which those are two things that are dependent on what you do. So Trey's job is to get you the leads, right? Make sure that your cost to lead is good and you're getting high quality people. So you have the opportunity to talk to clients, right? Your job is to get good at sales, work 8, 10, 12 hours a day if you're new to the industry, be on the phone all day, conversating with clients and closing deals, right? And then the second piece of that is, like I said, Trey's going to get you the leads. If you're on the monthly pack, you're missing out on a lot of the back end work that he could be doing for you from like a drip standpoint, from an email standpoint, from a flyer standpoint to help you when you get the lead, right? The goal is to make sure that your lead knows who you are before you get on the phone with them. So my biggest advice for people that are on the monthly pack is scale, make as many sales as possible, get profitable. But then back to my original point is look for the next pivot point to help increase your branding and your drip marketing and your representation and how those leads are viewing you on the back end, maybe even after you talk to them one time, because all of them don't close on a one call close. That's where the marketing is going to come into play big time because you have to stay in front of their face even when you're not talking to them. So I think from point A to point B there, that's in the beginning. Look to scale, make money, be on the phone, make sales, get good at sales, right? And Trey can help you with that, but that's also your job as an independent agent to tap in with your team, get the training, do the self-development that you need to learn how to get good at the industry. And then the next part is once you're profitable, learn to implement the systems that you need to increase your profitability more and your retention more.
Got you. And for the agent that asks, Scotty, what is a good schedule for me to write 40 to $50,000 a month as just a solo producer? What is your answer?
Yeah. So I can only tell you what I was doing. So when I was writing 40, 50K a month, first, I really wanted and needed to write 50K a month. So in the beginning, and this was before I had systems, and I'll come full circle on this in a second. But if you don't have the system piece yet and you're just getting the leads, that means that you have to work from 8 a.m. to I would say 8 p.m., right? Because you don't have the marketing yet, you're going to have to put yourself in overdrive to make more phone calls, make more points of contact, and actually spend more time building rapport and then closing the lead. Um, so to get to 40, 50K a month, that's necessary, I would say, for 6 to 8 months minimum. And once you get there, the marketing piece and the next phase of what you do with Trey is going to help you buy your time back, right? And that's one thing I'm big on is buying my time back. So even if the marketing package costs a little bit more money, right? I value time more than money, so I'm willing to put the money up so I maybe don't have to work 12 hours a day. My leads are coming in more qualified. I have the right systems, the drips, the website, the branding, all that looking correct. So when I do call the individual, I don't have to spend much time building rapport, reminding them who I am. They've already went through my marketing funnel. So that buys me time back, means I can maybe close them on a one call close and actually keep them on the book. So that would be that.
Yeah, no, 100%. I want you to explain to people who want to get into advanced market sales. We don't have to go to a script, but I do want you to talk to agents who are writing IULs right now and want to do what you do, writing annuities, writing more
Mhm.
true advanced market sales overall. What would you say to those agents?
So that's going to really come down to how much time you spend on self-education. For me, I went from final expense, right? And this, Trey, did it with you. Final expense, and then I dabbled in the IULs. And at the time, IULs weren't even popular. No one was really running ads for IULs, so it was like a hit or miss. I think it was one of our ideas, like, hey, let's try this campaign, and we started doing the IUL thing, and it worked. So I started getting some IUL sales in. And then for about a year, I would say I was 50-50. So I was half final expense, half IUL. So I always like to mention it like a tree. A tree builds from the seed to the root to the trunk to the branch, and then it flowers, right? So the final expense and the basics, that's the beginning piece. And then blending that into IULs is going to depend on you having to learn it. use your carriers, run through illustrations, self-educate, YouTube videos, calling the carriers that you want to write these policies with, calling the sales desk and asking questions on how things work inside those specific products, and then being able to properly project that to a client when you're sitting with them and explain it and educate them and add value, because the more value you add from an educational standpoint, the more prone they are into buying your product. And then once you get good at that, the IUL sales not that hard, right? It's about getting people approved, finding the right budget, and finding their long term maybe retirement goals and what they want to do with the policy, whether that's cash value accumulation, tax free loans, tax free income, the life insurance piece, the living benefits. And then, as you know, I do full time annuity now. So I had started and got my first annuity clients through those IUL appointments, which comes down to doing the correct financial inventory, meaning asking the golden question: do you have any other assets that would pay out aside from this life insurance policy we're about to set you up with? Any 401ks, IRAs, stocks, bonds, mutual funds, CDs, money in the bank, right? And you get a list of that inventory, and then you would start learning. And we have something coming out with exclusive annuities where we have a little mentorship course and all of that, but that's going to really come down to you learning annuities, which is the next step up from IULs, which is a very similar concept to IULs. It's just not a life insurance product. It's a growth account with no risk, right? It's an accumulation based product, or you can use them for income. And then you just have to learn that, dive into that self education, right? Like I said, I had no mentors or no one teaching me this stuff in the beginning. It was literally me on YouTube, me on carrier websites, on the phone with each carrier sales desk. And then honestly, my first couple, I got a little bit of help from someone that mentored me a little bit on my first two presentations. And then from there, I just started, showing the plan more. Every time I found money, I just learned how to do the illustration and learned what I can to communicate it properly. And then that's how I closed my first couple annuities. And now I'm writing, 10 million of annuities a year. So that was my process.
Yeah, 100%. And I think agents and agency owners want to get to that place, but they're not willing to. I mean, you and I have had a lot of conversations about the ups and downs of figuring out, like you said, like mentoring yourself and learning and being on YouTube and not really having like a hands-on guide. Hence why, in the process of creating a community, which by the way, if you guys are saying this and you're interested in like getting into advanced market sales, like you need to join his community. I'm not just saying that because he's my guy, but genuinely, he actually knows how to like structure things properly for the client and isn't just interested in trying to get a quick buck. But I think it's super helpful for agents to know like it's not a simple ride, right? You need to really dedicate yourself and, like he said, self-educate. So I think that's a good point to segue on. As we've known each other for 3 years and some change, I guess you could say now. And I would say, what was that moment for you when we had that conversation where you were like, you know what? I want to, have a system for my team and I want to go in not just on the leads and working with you, but more or less on the overall marketing strategy with like your individual agents, your agency, and like them having access to a resource where they can, hop on calls and communicate. What was that moment for you in your head? Because you're making XYZ, right? You wanted to bring your people along. Like, for any individual agency owner that's thinking like, I make a lot, I could be bothered by this or not. What would you say to them in regards to getting set up with their own like ownership package?
Yes. So the owner to elaborate on the ownership package, this is how I looked at it, right? I looked at other agencies, all mostly every agency that I could possibly look at, and what their agents were doing in the agency and what type of resources they had. So one thing I noticed about this industry is that people get hired, right? They're learning how to do final expense, right? They're learning how to do the basic life insurance sale. And, with the retention, some people get it, some people don't, some people quit, some people end up blowing up with it. But then it's like, as an agency owner, I was looking at other agencies and my agencies, and I was like, well, what's next after that? And from what I could see, I didn't see a lot of people like I'm over here doing the final expense, getting to IULs, getting to annuities. I told you guys I didn't really have any mentorship doing so. And I saw why people were not able to do the same thing that I was able to do because there's no resources to help them ladder their skill sets. And if you're going to do it all on your own, it's almost impossible to as an agency owner because you have so many responsibilities. So for you to handle all your team's marketing, for you to help, individuals with leads, running sales calls, running trainings, managing your admins, working on your brand, recruiting, all of that, you have to, just like any other business, you have to off shelf that to a third party, or someone that's going to work with you hand in hand. So for me, I saw the lack in what most agencies had as far as helping their agents truly get to the next level. And I'm not talking about teaching your agents how to write 30, 40, 50K in life insurance production. Anyone can teach their agents how to do that. What's next after that? In my opinion, it should be exactly what I'm doing. It should be final expense, IUL, then it should be annuities, and then maybe wealth management at the end and get the full spectrum of the financial arena. So for an agency owner that's like on the fence for getting an agency package, it just means that, you know, you're not thinking like the business owner you should be yet. And maybe that's why you're staying where you're at. But like for me, for example, when I onboard a new agent, they have a strategy call with Trey's team, right? I help them from an entrepreneurial standpoint, which helps me add more value to my agents. And to go back to what I was just saying is like if you're only teaching your agents how to write life insurance and you're just training them there's a lack there because how I like to think about it is I like to give them other resources. I want to teach them how to be entrepreneurs, how to create their websites, how to create their brands, how to make sure they look good running their ads, get their own ads manager set up, get their funnels and all the things I mentioned before, get that set up for each individual because that adds more value to my agent. That makes them feel like they're really in it, like they're going somewhere past just the sales. So when they start building their agency, they look more attractive from a recruiting standpoint because they have their own design to it. And I think that's important to help people or agents that are maybe new to this or never had that to learn like, hey, you're now an entrepreneur. You're now going into deeper realms of business ownership. You have to look past just the sales. You need to also look good. And 99% of the life insurance agencies out now are running virtual businesses, doing Zooms with clients, doing one call closes on like it's not a question of whether you not need to outsource that piece of your business or not. You need to provide your agents with those resources so they can deal with the marketing and get their ad set up and get their audit without you having to spend time on that. That was the biggest thing for me. Because I was always like, how do I create a system where I can onboard them to the marketing team and they can help them implement all the stuff that I have going on? You know, because I could spend hours with each agent and teach them and give them pointers, but they're never really going to get it set up properly unless I hire somebody to work on that for my agents. That gives me more free time to do what I do, and that helps them elevate those areas of their business and make them more official in the space and make them feel like they're more official in the space so they can be more excited about their business and ultimately they're going to make more money and they're going to look better, they're going to recruit bigger teams, you're going to have more free time, they're going to feel like they have a system to plug into. So it all comes full circle, like implementing a marketing system like with Agent Lead Lab is probably the smartest thing you can do as an agency owner. And like I said, I've known Trey for a long time and I've had massive success, alongside of him with all of these areas that we're talking about. So for me, I can only project my belief in it because it's helped me scale to where I am. If I didn't have the whole IUL system and what we had going on in the beginning, I don't like, I always tell people like my first year in 2023, my first full year in insurance, I wrote 650 with you, like I don't know if that that
Yeah.
wouldn't have really happened if like we didn't plug in at the time and create the beginning phases of that system. So now that I'm more in an agency owner position, like I said, I like free time, so to off branch that to a third party is necessary. I don't do marketing. It's not my specialty. That's Trey's specialty. I let him handle that piece at the agency.
Okay. Cool, cool, cool,
Hopefully
cool.
that answers the question.
No, 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 it does. It's super clear, man. I really don't have anything else to say. My last piece would be if I'm an individual, you touched on agency owners a lot. If I'm an individual agent and you could leave any last words with them just about working with us, what they should expect. We talked about their schedule, but I want to know like what should an agent expect working with us on a month to month basis and us being their marketing team, etc. The floor is yours. It's the last question too, by the way.
For like the weekly package,
Weekly, monthly, if they're just an individual agent getting set up
monthly, yeah.
with leads.
Yeah, with leads. So what the first thing you have to know is when it comes to online marketing, Facebook ads, other types of ads, nothing is going to be perfect, right? One, right? So like I always tell my agents, Trey's job is to get you leads. Okay. If your leads are coming in your CRM, right? That is a majority of what his goal, what the objective was on the marketing side. The job was to get leads into your CRM that are filling out ad forms. Two, back to what like the first question is your objective is to work and get them on the phone. And yes, some people might not qualify, some people might be broke, right? And then you might bump into the next two or three that are very serious and very high intent. Your job is to spend your time with those individuals, set up the meetings with those individuals and put all of your time into the ones that are really serious. Like even with me on my lead flow, I have 10 leads come in, four of them might not be that serious. You're marketing to online individuals, so you can't control people's personality. You really can't even control their intent to a degree. Obviously, we're going to make the lead ad to get people that are high intent. But at the end of the day, people are people. They're going to be looking and filling out forms. They may or may not want to get more in depth on a conversation with you. But the whole goal of marketing is to basically net the individuals in that you get 10 leads in, four might not be high intent. And then the next two might be on the fence. You can put some extra time into them. And that's where your sales skills come in to maybe win them over to have a meeting with you, right? And then you might have the other, four might be super high intent. They've actually been looking for a solution. They've actually been looking for this type of product. They've talked to a multiple different advisors or agents and they didn't feel comfortable moving forward with them. They're still looking for a solution. So I'd say like every 10 leads you get, it's not going to be 10 closes in a row. Just because you're with, like, even if you signed up with Trey, any other type of system like this, even if I was doing it by myself, I know that. So as a sales individual in life insurance, you just have to understand that that's how this works. So it's not all on the marketing team. Like I said, their job is to get you the 10 leads and make the ad form majority of that, an opt-in where they're high intent. Are they all gonna be the same? It's not, you're not marketing to robots, right? There's no way for us to go pick out so and so on this ad form and say, hey, only you guys can make it through. If they click it and they're interested and they fill out their info, just be happy you got the lead. My biggest advice for how to convert those is just spend your time with the individuals that are actually giving you the best energy. So those first four, right? You might do a call with them, maybe follow up with them here and there. And that's where the marketing drips come into play because you can still market to them even though they don't want to talk to you yet. The other two, right? Spend time to win them over. And then the high intent ones, make sure those are the first ones that you spend your time with and you get those ones closed down first. And that's where your sale skill comes in, your mentorship, right? Your self education. Trey can't close them for you, right? He couldn't close them for me in the beginning. All he could do was get me the people's info. My job was to close them. He wasn't on the Zooms with me when I was closing them. That was all on me. And so as a business owner, as like a customer for this type of business, you just have to understand that like once the lead's in your hands, it's on you to do what you're going to do with that. They can only manage so much on the back end. Their job is a different category, but spend your time with the ones that are the most high intent. And then once you start to scale, the last thing is once you start to scale and get profitable, increase your ad spend. You know, spend more money on generating leads, and maybe instead of 10, you get 20. And then just keep putting more fuel on that fire and work with Trey to see which ad campaigns are working and dump fuel on that. And then just increase your activity. It's all about activity and it's all about inflow, you know. The leads are coming in, you're busy. You know, the Trey's job is to keep you busy all day. So, you know, if you're busy all day and you're making money, put more money into it and just be busy, 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 calling people on the phone, Zoom, 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 you know, follow up, email, next call. Like that's what your day to day should look like. And sometimes that's not going to be accomplished with a $50 a day ad budget, you know. Sometimes you might have to go up to 100, $200 a day on ads. Like I spend almost 500, $600 a day on ad spend sometimes. And, you know, because I want to be busy. The worst thing you can do as a life insurance agent is not be busy or have no system. If I want to turn my ads up, I say, hey, Trey, turn this campaign up. I want to be busy for the next 3 weeks. And I'll just have more leads coming in. I'm more busy, which means I'm going to have more opportunities to close and reinvest back into the next month, right? You know, and just set myself up the whole year, guys. You know, like pay for all like management fees, all of that. Typically for all my businesses, I pay all that stuff quarterly. So in the beginning, you just have to worry about being as busy as you can and getting as many people in front of you to share the knowledge that you have on whatever product you're selling, whether it's final expense, IULs, annuities, whatever it is. The key is to be as busy as possible and on the phone all day and presenting, and then dumping those profits back over to Trey to let him enhance your marketing experience.
100%, man. I couldn't say it any better. Well, we're gonna wrap it up there. I appreciate you for your time. If you guys, like I said, want to join this community and you're looking to get in the advanced market space, please make sure you guys get in contact with myself. You guys can follow him on Instagram as well. And yeah, we look forward to, you guys potentially working with us. And I hope this video was very, very helpful. Until next time, we'll see you guys later.